Hello everyone. Today's video is going to be a very technical one, and we're going to talk about how to actually write. Because unfortunately, a lot of parts of the BC curriculum or whatever curriculum is in the world, unfortunately, many English teachers, I think, don't successfully teach students how to actually write. Rather, they just tell students what good writing looks like and to practice this way, or they just directly test you and repeatedly test you and such in a way that I feel isn't very fair. So I'll tell you how I write in university and for university work, or how I got through high school at the very least, and what I found successes in, and how I think you should at least structure things. So when you're given a prompt of whatever it is to write, whether it's a short story or an essay, you should always have a title. And this is just generic formatting stuff. So let's say we have let's just call this essay one. Essay one. Now, a very standard sort of essay structure that you see in high school is a five-paragraph essay, where one paragraph is an introductory, the fifth one is a conclusion, and you'll have one, two, three, three in the middle here, three paragraphs in the middle here. So this is a very good paragraph structure that you can start with to just get to know at least how to understand how to get into writing and then move on maybe in this will get you past high school at the very least, whether no matter what curriculum you're in, IB, AB, AP, whatever. So the introductory paragraph is the most important. And I suppose we should first talk about a thesis statement first. A thesis statement should be the main argument of what you're trying to talk about in your essay. Let's say you're trying to argue about the Shakespearean play, The Tempest. So let's say you have this play, and your teacher is going to obviously tell you to analyze something, talk about something in the play, talk about a theme, maybe what a character does and why it's important, or talk about what you think about it. So let's just make a very generic prompt. How do you like The Tempest? Like vs dislike. So intuitively, the thesis statement is a statement that should just, in one succinct sentence, describe the entire, all five of these points, or at least, at the very least, the 3 points and the fifth, and the conclusion, or in some cases, just describe what your essay is going to talk about. So this is a very good format of what a thesis statement should look like. But let's say if we're having a very mundane topic, like whether you like or dislike it, you can write, you should first say in third person, in William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Now, after saying in William Shakespeare's The Tempest, from now on, after this introductory thesis statement, you can just refer to him as Shakespeare's. This is how it's standardized in writing. You just have to say the first name one time or the full name one time, and it'll be fine. So, in William Shakespeare's The Tempest, I will argue or you can't say, you don't have to say I will argue. You can say the themes of, and you can use any sort of sentence here. You can say the themes of, the elements, the expression. But the main point is after this comma, you should talk about these 3 points now. So let's say the first paragraph, I want to talk about how magic is really cool in The Tempest. The second thing is the characters, right? Characters. And the third thing, let's say I like the plot. So maybe these are the three topics I want to talk about. The themes of magic, and then you can say the characterization, characterization, and intricacies in the plot. And then so now that we have this sentence in here that describes that lists out at least the three main topics we want to talk about. Let's read it from top to bottom. In William Shakespeare's The Tempest, the themes of magic, the characterization, you don't have to say the characterization and intricacies in the plot. Now you have to talk about what do these three bullet points mean? What are you trying to say with this? Are you saying the magic is good? Are you saying it adds something to the story? Are you saying like what does it specifically mean? Now, my topic, the question I asked, whether you like it or dislike it, this is like difficult to argue because it's a very subjective means, right? So you can, but my point being is that you have to drive something out of the points. You have to understand that there's something to talk about. So let's say I'm going to talk about the themes of magic characterization, intricacies in the plot. Let's say they are important for highlighting class struggles in Elizabethan England. Now, this is going to be unique to whatever you're arguing about. This is just for the Tempest. I believe it highlights class struggles in Elizabethan England, but this is just going to be something that's going to be up to you. And then we can elaborate on this a little bit. We can say why or how does it do so in a way that portrays elements of the status quo, in a way that portrays, let's say, and examines. Okay, so now let's start from the top. In William Shakespeare's The Tempest, these themes, they're important because they highlight class struggles in a way that portrays these themes of the status quo. And why is this? And now this last sentence is arguably one of the most important, is why this is important. So maybe this can show the historical rhetoric at the time, the historical patterns at the time for The Tempest, such that it shows the historical precedent of class inequality. Let's say that. Now, for you guys listening, it's possible that you might not know what the heck I'm talking about. You might not be able to understand what I'm even writing. But the point is that in one sentence, in this sentence, you summarize what you're doing, what you're analyzing, the text that you're analyzing. In the second sentence, list out these 3 points here in number 2. This sentence, why is it important? And then have a comma, and then talk a little bit more about the importance. Like drive it home, drive the message home to the reader. Make it understand, like just because these 3 points lead to something, you should drive the importance. And overall, this last sentence here, this is 3, this is 4. Last sentence, this fifth sentence, is the conclusion. What do you get from it? And this should be your thesis statement. This itself is a thesis statement. Now, it's not just a sentence. If you're just writing a sentence as a thesis statement, maybe it'll work for grade A, grade 9 writing, but once you get higher level, it's not going to cut it out. So after you get this, you need to write another conclusion. You can write a conclusion like, in this essay, I will argue that whatever related to this. And then you can start arguing points 1, 2, and 3. And then points 1, 2, and 3, it's basically a copy paste of this, but you change the wording. You can say in Shakespeare's, like for example, point 1, you can write Shakespeare's use of magic, and then you still use the same format. You have to talk about what it is, where it's used, why it's important, maybe relate it to another source or someone's discussion or some cited article you find that argues a one way or the other. But the point is it's when you think of essay writing, you don't have to think about it as if you're just writing something, but think of it as a logical process where you're trying to present an argument, deliver the argument, and elaborate on why it's so important, or maybe why it's not important. That can also be a case. And then when you get to the conclusion, it's just the opposite, where you summarize all you've done from all points 1 and these 3 points, and then you have to basically just explain what's going on, what you accomplish out of this. So I hope this helps you guys learn more about writing, and I'll give more tips in a bit. Thank you.